All right, guys, welcome to episode 6 of Heart Mind Yoga with Jodina. I'm clearly Jodina. For those of you that may be new to this channel, if you are new, I encourage you to maybe pop back over to the introduction video that will describe a little bit more about why I have felt compelled or called to create this channel. Really focused a lot more on mental health and how that weaves into our yoga practice. And I give a lot of stories about myself. The reason I do that is solely just to kind of share my story and efforts that maybe something that I share from my story or my life, my years of experience will translate to something that you can interpret for your own life. Maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't, but that's the goal of this channel. And then just to give access and provide access to this gift that I have truly been given of yoga. It has been life changing, continues to change my life every day, which just sort of fascinates me because I think I'm in my 5th year of practice now. Probably 4th year of practicing religiously, like every day. Try to take one day of rest or a slow day, if you will. But anyway, nonetheless, it's been life changing for me, and that's kind of the goal of sharing this channel is maybe helping somebody out there with maybe some struggles that they're potentially going through. So our fireside chat, maybe that's what I'm going to start calling them. Maybe they don't have a fireplace anymore, but our little fireside chat today is going to be about what yoga may be perceived to be versus the reality of what it is. So, yoga is a practice. You'll hear me talk about that as well as other teachers on the regular. And it's a practice because there is no perfection. Um, there is no perfect pose in yoga. And furthermore, yoga is not about the poses or the postures anyway. Yoga is a moving meditation. It's simply a way to connect our minds, bodies, and our spirits through our breath and through our body movements. So, no perfect pose. That doesn't mean that we don't strive to make the poses the way that they're supposed to be, but then there's also accessibility pieces with our bodies. So, no perfect pose with yoga. Um, why this kind of resonated with me this week is I've had a couple of deaths in my family, one of them being my father in the last month and a half, I guess it's been, which obviously for anybody, regardless of the relationship that you have or don't have with loved ones, it is difficult when you have a death in the family. Oftentimes people don't respond or react the way that you think they should or the way that you want them to. And part of what I've learned over the last month and a half is we're all different, and allowing people to grieve or experience the emotions that they need to experience rather than making it about how you feel someone else should respond or react to things. So, that being said, it kind of made me do a little bit of self reflection on the only thing that I can control is the way that I respond to anything in this world, whether that be somebody in traffic or family members or friends or what have you. I have control only over how I respond, not what other people do. And so that was important for me to reflect on. And then, furthermore, the need to share that yoga doesn't bring you some great feeling of peace and contentment all the time. Religion doesn't do that. I'm a religious person. I've shared that in a previous video. Nothing is going to provide you with that constant peace and contentment. So, what our yoga practice does, though, is prepares us for these moments, these difficult moments or trials, if you will, And the goal is not to erase those feelings or those emotions, but instead just to simply notice. We're here to be witnesses of our bodies, how we feel. Let yourself feel those things, right? So through my years of working with my kids and other loved ones, I've always told people, feel the feels, right? If you're going to feel sad, feel sad. You want to feel depressed, notice it. It becomes a problem when you get stuck there, and that's where we need to consider if reaching out for help is the next best step. Again, I'm not a therapist. These are only my 52 years of living, and my recommendations for people. So just know that yoga is not some magic potion. um, it's literally just a way to connect with our bodies and be okay with noticing all of those feelings that we may experience, the sadness, the joy, the happiness, all of those things. They all are a part of our lives. And we need to experience those and notice and maybe turn off the autopilot, stop trying to push the stuff down in there and let it move. Let it move. And if you're feeling a lot of big feelings, then maybe your practice can help you work through some of those. That's typically what I like to do when I'm feeling a lot of emotion is get on my mat, do some practice, focus on my breath, and just let my body be. And it does help. So anyway, that's my fireside chat today. If you guys have anything specifically that you want to talk about, feel free to leave me a comment below. I will certainly see if it's something I know about or if I have access to other resources. I will certainly do some digging and investigating on whatever topics you guys want to explore. But until then, I guess you're just stuck listening to my stories, and I don't know what comes to me during the week to feel compelled to talk to you all about. Or you can just turn it off. You always have that option too. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into the asana or the practice of this yoga session. I definitely am going to get into the hips and legs today. We're going to do a little balancing half moon pose. I have a couple of blocks here. I would suggest if you don't have blocks, pause the video, go run and grab something that will bring the earth closer to you. I'm just going to give a quick demonstration. Mind you, I am not really warmed up for this right now, so I may have a little balance issue myself. But balancing half moon, our chest is going to be open towards the front of our space. The crown of the head's going to be reaching out to the side. And then our hands are reaching to the block and to the sky. And the block will bring the earth closer to you. If you're not going to use the block, then I suggest you have the availability to balance without using the hand on the ground. If we take the hand down to the earth, we're kind of coming out of the hips and then changing that posture a little bit. So again, if you don't have blocks, no big deal. Find something in your house, books, something that you can use just to bring the earth a little bit closer, maybe to have your fingertips on there. Another good option is a chair. There is nothing wrong with using a chair. I teach my chair yoga class on Fridays, and you can certainly use a chair to help with your balance, just like I'm using the arm of my chair right now. So use what you have in your home. No need to go out and buy special props, but like I've said, blocks you can get at Target, $5, maybe $10 a piece. I haven't priced them in quite some time, so with inflation, who knows? But anyway, you can buy blocks for relatively little money. So let's go ahead and get started. Find your way to your back sides. Knees can stay up towards the ceiling if you have a cat that's in your way, or you can extend the legs out long, finding a Shavasana pose. Maybe close the eyes. Begin to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Reminding yourself that the next 40 to 50 minutes are for you. There is absolutely nothing to worry about. There is nothing to do aside from focusing on your breath and your body. Begin to notice how the belly expands with each inhale and how the belly falls with each exhale. And then when you're ready, flutter the eyes open. Maybe find a few wiggles in the body if that feels good to you. And let's inhale, send the arms up over the head, stretching out like a big good morning stretch. Involve your legs if the space is available to you. And then exhale, bring the hands back down to the hips. And I'm going to alter the beginning of my practice a little bit since my furry little four-legged friend is in the way. Bring the hands down to the hips. I like to bring my feet in so that my fingertips graze my heels. That may be comfortable for you, but if not, find a good position for your hips and your feet. And then we want the feet about hip width distance apart. That may be 2 fist widths for most of you. And then place the palms of the hands down on the mat. Let the nose gaze up towards the ceiling. And with our inhale, we're going to send the hips up high towards the ceiling. Engage the quads, the glutes. And then exhale, lower the hips back down. Inhale, raising the hips towards the sky again. Exhale, lower. Inhale, raise the hips. Exhale, lower. Inhale, raise. Engage the core. Exhale, lower. This last one, we're going to hold it. We'll inhale, raise the hips towards the ceiling. Maybe walk the shoulder blades in towards one another just to deepen your back bend a little bit. Pushing the knees towards the left side of your space. You should feel a nice engagement in the quads by doing that and drawing the knees in toward one another. One more breath. Exhale, gently lower the hips down towards the mat. And then draw the knees in towards the chest. You can leave the head and neck down on the shoulders down on the mat, or you can engage the core and lift your head, neck, and shoulders up. And again, find these rocks side to side, top to bottom, whatever feels good on your spine. And then exhale, lower the head down, bring the feet back down towards the floor. Don't mind me, Yazzie. And then when you're ready, plant your left foot on the mat. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh, finding yourself here in a figure 4. You may already feel a nice stretch through the right outer hip. If you do, stay here. If you want to take this a little bit further, lift the left foot off of the floor, drawing the right foot in towards the chest. You can fish the arms through, grabbing the back of the left thigh, or maybe clasping hands on top of the left shin. Your right elbow can find the right thigh, gently pushing the right knee away from the body. Keeping that right foot flexed will help protect the knee in this pose. I like to keep both of my feet flexed here and engage both of my legs. For me, it just deepens the stretch a little bit more and engages the legs. One more breath. On your next exhale, release the grasp of the hands. Send the left foot up towards the ceiling, drawing the toes down towards the nose, really feeling that stretch through the left calf, maybe into the left hamstring. And then we're going to exhale, send both legs down towards the mat. Keep your spine glued towards the mat. Engage the belly here. And then inhale, lift back up. Exhale, left foot comes back down towards the mat. And then uncross the legs. And we'll simply switch sides, crossing left ankle this time over the right thigh. Again, keeping that right foot flexed. We'll inhale if you're not feeling the stretch in the left outer hip, drawing that foot closer in towards the chest. And if you want, feel free to fish the arms through that leg, clasping the back of the right thigh, or maybe hands find the top of the shins. Left elbow finds the left thigh, gently pushing it away from the body, and breathe. One more breath here. Exhale, release the grip of the hands. Pull the hands out from between the legs if you had them there. And on your next inhale, send that right foot up towards the ceiling. Imagine you're stamping a hole in your ceiling with that right heel, drawing those right toes down towards the nose. Oh, that stretch feels amazing. And then we're going to exhale, lower that right leg slowly down towards the floor, engaging the core, keeping the spine pressed down into the mat to protect the back. And then we'll inhale, rise back up, uncross the legs, send the left foot up to meet the right, and let the feet just point up towards the ceiling. No need to point or flex the feet at this time. Maybe you find a gentle bend in the knees. And then maybe you check in and let the natural rhythm of your body just sway the legs however they want to go. This is a waterfall pose. I love doing inversions and going upside down. It's great for anxiety. And guess what? This is a form of an inversion. So if you're not at a place in your practice yet that you're doing handstands or headstands or any of that stuff, you really never have to. Just getting the feet above the heart does the same trick that a handstand or a headstand or any kind of other inversion does. And then on your next exhale, lower the feet back down towards the mat. Notice how the legs feel from holding them above the heart. And then we'll send the legs out long. Take one more big good morning stretch here. Arms over the head. And exhale, draw the knees back into the chest. Let the hands find the back of the thighs. We're going to do some rocking and rolling here. So on your next inhale, start building a little momentum until you can reach a point where you can stay in a Navasana or boat pose. Really important here to keep the spine nice and tall, drawing the knees in towards the chest and keeping the back and the core, actually keeping the core really engaged, but keeping the back up nice and straight so we're not dumping into our backs holding this posture. Keep your hands on the back of the legs if you need to. And if you want the full expression, you could extend the feet out long. Maybe take the hands away from the legs. And then exhale, cross left foot in front of right. So we're in a nice, easy seated pose. And let's just find a spinal extension. We'll inhale, nice tall spines. Exhale, walk the hands forward, bringing the chest down towards the earth. Keeping your hips attached to the mat. Maybe you lower your head down towards the floor. Maybe not. Go to where you feel the stretch. One more breath. Inhale, gently walk the hands back in towards the body. Bring the left knee in towards the chest. Let's cross it over the right leg. If this hurts your knee, please extend the right knee out straight. You're going to get the same stretch here. We're going to take the left hand behind the left hip. Inhale the right arm nice and tall towards the sky. Feel that stretch in the right side body. And then on our exhale, we're going to twist and either hook the arm on the outside of the left knee, or maybe the elbow or tricep finds the knee. Our gaze goes over our left shoulder. One more breath. Exhale, come back to center. Send the legs out long in front of us, and we're going to take a forward fold. So the toes can be flexed, or you can relax the toes. It doesn't really matter in this case. We'll inhale the arms nice and tall. Exhale, hinge at the hips, reach forward with the crown of the head and the hands. When you get to your edge where your hamstrings are like no more, then relax the hands. And then maybe you relax the head and neck as well. You can always put a micro bend in the knees here, or a big bend for that matter. The more you bend your knees, the more you're going to get a stretch in your lower back. The more you flex the toes and reach forward with the crown of the head, the more you're going to feel this in your hamstrings and your calves. One more breath. Inhale, rise back up, bring the feet in with you. Left foot comes in first, right foot then crosses in front of left for this easy seated posture. Again, if this causes knee pain, be sure you put something underneath the knees to, again, bring the earth closer to the knees. Pillows are a great prop, blocks, whatever you have lying around. We'll inhale here, nice tall spines. Exhale, walk the hands out away from the body, and just notice how the stretch feels a little bit different simply by switching the cross of the legs. Just notice. One more breath. And we'll gently walk the hands back in towards the body. And we'll find the left leg on top of right. So right heel goes towards the glute or straight. Oops, sorry guys, I'm going the same direction. Our right foot's going to cross over the left thigh. The left heel comes in towards the right glute, or we can extend that left leg out long if this doesn't feel good on your knee. Once you're here, take your right hand outside the right hip. Inhale, nice side body stretch here through the left. And then on our exhale, we're going to twist towards the right. Again, hand can grab the outside of the right knee, or maybe elbow or tricep finds the outside of that right knee. And our gaze goes over our right shoulder. Sitting up with a nice tall spine here. Keep breathing. One more breath. Exhale, unwind that, and let's find our way into a tabletop position. So hands and wrists under our shoulders, knees under our hips, spine and neck is neutral. And we'll start with just a cat-cow to warm up the spine. Again, something you'll always see in every one of my yoga practices. With all my back pain, it feels amazing. We'll inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And then we'll exhale, push the floor away, tuck the chin, round the spine, arch the back for cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then get expressive with it. Maybe you incorporate the hips. Maybe you sway a little bit forward or do some barrel rolls here. Whatever feels good for your spine. Who cares how it looks? It doesn't even have to look like a yoga pose. Just enjoy this cat-cow. Enjoy being in your body. Noticing how it all feels. Last cat. And after your last cat, come back to a neutral spine. We're going to find our right hand. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, thread it under. Don't put the cheek or the shoulder down. We're going to inhale, come back up. Exhale, thread it through. Inhale, come back up one more time. Exhale, thread it through. This time we're going to let the right shoulder find the mat. Maybe the right cheek finds the mat. And then lots of different variations here. We're going to keep it really basic today. If you know another way to do thread the needle at home, feel free. But I am pushing into my left hand just to deepen that shoulder stretch a little bit on the right side because it feels really good. The key is always listen to your body. One more breath. On your next inhale, push out of the left hand. Send the right arm up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, lower the right hand down to meet the left. Moving to the other side, inhale, left arm up. Exhale, thread it through. Inhale, up. Exhale, thread it through. Inhale, come up. Exhale, thread it through. This time we're going to come down onto the left shoulder and the left cheek, and maybe we push out of that right shoulder just to deepen the stretch a little bit. Only if that feels good to you. One more breath here. On your next inhale, let's unwind. Send the arm up to the ceiling. Exhale, lower down. Left hand meets the right. All right, you guys, let's send the right foot back straight out from the hip, pushing through the right heel. And then we're going to exhale, curl in knee to nose. Inhale, extend, pushing through that right heel, engaging the leg. Exhale, curl in and round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl in and round. Hold it here. And then we're going to bring the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Both hands are inside the right foot, finding ourselves here in our low lunge. And we'll inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. Roll the pinkies in towards one another. And push forward just ever so slightly until you feel that stretch into the left hip flexor, finding strength in the legs. Exhale, lower the left hand down to the mat. Right arm reaches towards the ceiling. Simple twist. And then exhale, lower the left hand or the right hand down to meet the left. I like to wiggle my left feet back a little bit. We're going to find ourselves here in a little bit of a lizard lunge. So extending the left leg back a little bit helps me get deeper into that left hip flexor. You can certainly stay upright here with the arms straight, or you can bring the forearms down to a block, really noticing that stretch in the left hip right now. Or if you have a little bit of additional space, you can try to bring the forearms down to the mat. Everything's always an option in your yoga practice, except breathing. Breathing is never an option. You have to keep breathing with me. One more breath. On your next inhale, bring the hands back under the shoulders, curl the left toes under, lift the left knee, and we're going to start pushing through the left toes, building some momentum, and then we're going to take a big step forward. Left foot finds the outside of the left hand, right foot finds the outside of the right hand, and we're going to find ourselves here in a yogi squat. You may need to adjust your feet, widening them a little bit or bringing them closer together. Just be sure that your toes are following your knees. And then if it's comfy for you, inhale the crown of the head towards the ceiling, bringing the hands to heart center. Noticing this first hip opener of our practice today. All right, we're going to stay here for a couple of more breaths and add on to our yogi squat here. Let your left hand find the space right in front of the left foot. And if you can, we'll inhale the right arm up towards the sky. So we're stretching out from fingertip to fingertip. Noticing the stretch through the back, the side body, the extra stretch you get into the hips. And then exhale back to center. Inhale, open it up. Right hand comes in front of the right foot. Left hand extends to the sky. Exhale back to center. One more on each side, you guys. Inhale, open it up towards the right. Exhale back to center. Last time, open it up towards the left. And then exhale back to center. All right, from here, place your hands down on your mat. And we're going to come back into a tabletop position, not a real great transition from there. And this time we'll extend the left foot out long behind us, pushing through the heel of the left foot. Inhale, bring knee to nose. Exhale, extend. Inhale, curl in and round. Exhale, extend. Inhale, curl in and round, hold it. And then exhale, left foot plants on the outside of the left hand. From here, we'll inhale the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Adjust your feet as needed so that you can push forward, feeling that nice stretch through the right hip flexor. One more breath. Exhale, lower the right hand down. Inhale, left arm up towards the ceiling. Right hand grows roots through the floor as we stretch through the left fingertips. One more breath. Exhale, lower the hands down to the inside of the left foot. And again, we're going to find that lizard pose here. So maybe you extend the right knee back a little bit to get a little bit more extension in that right hip flexor. And then we can either stay here Or you can bring the forearms down to a block or to the mat or anything else you have in your home to bring that earth closer to you. Breathing through this stretch, noticing where you feel it, and does it feel different than it did on the right? One more breath. On our next inhale, we'll come back to the palms of the hands. Curl the right toes under, lift that right knee up from the mat. And again, we'll start building that momentum. You guys know where we're going here. We're going to find our yogi squat or malasana pose again. When you're ready with all the momentum you can muster up, find yourself in your yogi squat. Cannot say it enough. If I ever cue a posture that doesn't feel good for your body, skip it. You can always find a child's pose or another posture that is comfortable for you, just so you're continuing to breathe. One more breath. On your next inhale, place the hands down on the mat if that helps. And we're going to rise up to a standing posture. Heel toe the feet in. So again, they're about hip width distance apart. Maybe find that nice bend in your knees. Guess what forward fold we're going to do here? We're going to do my favorite where we can really release the spine by finding that generous bend in the knees, maybe clasping opposite elbows. But most importantly, let go of the head and neck. Let it hang so heavy that you feel all that natural traction through the spine. One more breath. On your next exhale, place the hands down on the mat. We're going to inhale, straighten the legs, halfway lift, hands to shins, making that number 7 out of your body. Exhale, fold. And then we're going to inhale, rise up one vertebra at a time, just rolling up like a little rag doll. Once you get to the top, maybe roll the shoulders down and back. And take pause and notice how your body feels right now. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling a little stretchy, a little more bendy, and a little more warmed up for sure. So we're going to get into the side body a little bit before we find our peak pose or our balancing half moon. So let's go ahead and take the right foot, bring the right foot behind us. You can bend your knees here. I always like to call this a ballerina pose because that's what it reminds me of. And we'll inhale the right arm up by the right bicep. Left hand is going to find the right wrist. And then we're gently on our exhale going to pull towards the left. Finding that really nice stretch from the right hip all the way up to the right fingertips. Maybe practice or play around with straightening that right leg. See how that feels for you. Inhale back to center, unwind the arms, bring the feet back together. And then we'll bring left foot behind the right. Again, finding that bend in the knees so you feel nice and stable here in your stance. When you're ready, left arm comes by the left ear. Right hand is going to find the left wrist. And we gently pull towards the right. Keep breathing. In through the nose and out through the nose. One more breath. Inhale back to center, release the arms, and uncross the legs. All right, let's find a little flow here, you guys. Right foot's going to find the front of the mat. Toes will all be pointed towards the right side. And then let's find a warrior two from here. So our left foot's going to become perpendicular to the right. Arms come out to a T. And really see if you can't sink down into your warrior two. Take a peek down as well. Make sure you can see your right big toe so that your knee's tracking out towards your pinky toe. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left hand goes down the left leg, right arm by the right bicep, or right bicep by the right ear. Inhale, back to warrior 2 feet, but straighten that front leg. Arms are still out to a T. We'll jut the left hip back. Reach, reach, reach forward till you can't go any further. And then exhale, lower the arms down, finding your Utthita Trikonasana or your triangle pose. Your hands can be on the top of the shin, or they can be outside of the right leg. But again, we want to stretch out long from fingertip to fingertip. Micro bend in the right knee is perfectly okay. And from here, we're going to find our balancing half moon. Maybe you step in a little bit closer from your triangle pose. I have to because my gait's a little far for me to spring into a balancing half moon. But we'll find a bend in the right knee. And we're going to find a bend in the left knee. Again, finding that momentum, kind of like we did when we were on the ground. And then we're going to inhale, spring forward, maybe some toe taps to get that left foot up, pushing through that left foot or heel like we did when we were lying on our backs. And then reaching out from fingertip to fingertip. We'll stay for 3 more breaths. Exhale, we're going to lower down softly, finding our warrior 2 for just a beat. And then we'll inhale, straighten the legs, bring all 10 toes towards the front of our space. And let's move to the other side. So we'll shift, finding warrior 2 towards the left. Again, same thing. See if you can sink down so you feel that stretch through both of the hips and thighs. Peeking down, making sure you can see the left big toe, and then gaze is out over the left middle finger. Lots of things to check in warrior 2. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Right hand down the right leg, left arm up over the left ear. Inhale, back to warrior 2. Straighten the legs, send the right hip back. And then reach, reach, reach till you can't go any further. And then lastly, you can drop the left hand down to the left shin, the thigh, or the outside of the left leg. And your gaze can go up towards the right hand, out in front of you, or down towards the floor. Just keep breathing. And if you have your block, I should have told you to bring it with you. We're going to find our balancing half moon on the left. Again, maybe you shorten that stance a little bit, bringing that left foot in. But we're going to start finding some momentum in the legs. And then on an inhale of your choice, we'll spring into our balancing half moon. And we'll stay for 4 breaths. On your next exhale, we'll gently fall back to a warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the legs, bring all 10 toes towards the front of our space. And we are set up for a really nice thigh stretch and strength builder for the legs called Skandasana. So it's like a half lunge. Feel free to use your hands. I'm going to give you several variations here. We're going to first find our Skandasana to the left. So I'm already headed that way. We're going to find a bend in the left knee. You can stop here. If you're feeling it and going, oh gosh, that's enough, stop. If you want to go further, you can come down until your body says no more. You can also use your hands. As a matter of fact, if you're not comfortable with this, use your hands. I used my hands for like 2 years, I think, before I started doing this without hands. The right toes should point up towards the ceiling. And this foot may or may not make contact with the earth. You may be up on the ball of your left foot. That is totally fine. We're looking to find that nice stretch in the right inner thigh. This is great preparation for middle splits. If anybody has any desire to do those, I still can't do them, but one of those things. Keep trying. We're going to inhale and we're going to move to the other side. Again, use your hands if this is new to you, or you can challenge yourself by inhaling, pushing out of that strong left leg, and then coming down on your exhale to the right. Nothing wrong with using the hands, you guys. Notice how the inner thigh feels on the left compared to the right. I hope you guys can't hear all the squeaking that's going on in my house from my dogs, but one more breath here. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale. Use the hands this time. We're going to come up to a wide-legged forward fold from that Skandasana pose. So readjust your feet as you need. My hands are under my shoulders initially. We'll inhale here. And then exhale. If you have more space, let the crown of the head go down towards the mat. Maybe the hands follow, walking the hands back to line up more with the feet. Wide-legged forward fold can be a great place to stretch the hamstrings, stretch the back. Always feels like a nice reset to me. One more breath. Inhale, walk the hands under the shoulders. And from here, we're going to heel toe the feet in towards one another. Finding ourselves in this little gentle forward fold. This time, maybe you straighten the legs a little bit while trying to draw the chin in and the forehead towards the legs. Making this more of a hamstring stretch than that spinal stretch that we did earlier. And when you're ready, let's inhale, swan dive, or send the arms out like a bird. Arms above the head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Sometimes you just kind of forget your words mid-sentence when you're talking. It happens to the best of us, right? I hope it's not just me. Anyway, we're going to come back down to the mat. I'm going to come down via yogi squat. Just find your way to your mat if you don't want to do yogi squat again. But if you do enjoy your yogi squat, please join me in making our back sides down to our mats. All right, guys. Once you have made it there, let's come all the way down to our backs. Not yet, Missy, not yet. And then we're going to inhale the knees to a tabletop height here. Send the arms out to a T or maybe cactus arms, whatever you have space for. And then on our exhale, we're going to let the knees fall towards the right, trying to keep the left shoulder grounded down towards the earth beneath us. And if you guys ever make it to a live class, sometimes some studios will do on-hand adjustments. I'm going to share one you can actually do for yourself. If you place your right hand onto your left hip And your left hand goes onto your left shoulder, and you kind of pull those apart just a little bit. You can get a little deeper into the stretch, and it just feels really nice on the hip and back. At least in my body, it does. We'll take one more breath here. And we'll inhale, use your core, drawing the knees back to tabletop. Just scoot away from my table to go to the other side. Again, arms can come out to a T. And then on our exhale, we'll let the knees fall towards the left, trying to draw this right shoulder down towards the earth. And then again, maybe if you want to take that hands-on assist cheat, you take the left hand to the right hip and just gently pull it away from the right shoulder. And I don't know why I said on the other side to grab your shoulder. That felt awkward. But anyway, grabbing the hip and kind of giving that gentle pull gives a similar sensation to an on-hands adjustment in a studio. One more breath. And then when you're ready, release your left hand from the hip if it found its way there. And we'll again gently inhale the knees back to center. Exhale, let the feet fall towards the mat. And let's make our way to Shavasana. However that looks for you, maybe extending the legs out long, drawing the shoulders down and away from the ears, closing the eyes if it's comfortable for you, and letting the breath return to normal. Just begin to notice the gentle rise of the belly with each inhale, and notice the fall on the exhales. Maybe checking in with your body to notice, how do you feel after your practice today? Just notice without judgment. Our reading today is Flow with Life. Flow with life, because life itself is movement. Nothing stays the same, and that is not a flaw, it is the design. Thoughts arise and dissolve. Emotions visit and leave. People arrive, teach, and move on. Suffering begins when the mind tries to freeze what is meant to flow, to cling to moments that were never promised permanence. Wisdom is meeting each moment fully, without gripping, appreciating without owning. When you stop resisting change, life just feels lighter. When you stop demanding certainty, peace becomes possible. Receive what comes with openness. Release what goes with grace. That is how you live in harmony with the rhythm of existence. Accept that nothing will remain the same. Be grateful for all that is, without the need to possess. Receive life as it comes. Release it as it goes. Please continue with your Shavasana, and I will wake you when it's time to come back. If you drifted away, I invite you back to the space. Maybe begin to bring small movements by wiggling the toes, finding movements in the hands, maybe circling the wrist. Maybe deepening and lengthening the breath. Maybe on the next inhale of your choice, you find one last big good morning full body stretch. And then being gentle and patient and kind with the body, maybe rolling on to your favorite side. Pushing yourself up into a seated posture whenever you're ready. And we'll close out our practice by taking one last breath together, inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Thank you all so much for sharing your practice with me. I hope you find peace and joy in your day. Namaste.